What is going on, everybody? Justin with Everything Aquarium, back with another video, of course. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can do to be a responsible fish keeper and the things you do and you don't want to do as a fish keeper. The hobby's a great hobby. I would love for the whole world to know about it, but it's just facts that it doesn't get spread as wide as, you know, other things on social media. So I want to bring awareness to it right now. As a YouTuber, I feel responsible to kind of make this video and just kind of bring things to the scene of fish keeping. And this is really going to be more based around like newer fish keepers. So if you're not a new fish keeper, you don't have to watch it. You can if you want to, but like I said, I just kind of feel the need to make this video. So let's talk about that right now. So first things first, let's talk about invasive species just a little bit. I'm not going to touch too much on every subject here. Just want to bring up a couple valid points here. So if you're a new time fish keeper, of course you're probably going to start out with a small tank, maybe a goldfish, maybe a betta, something typical like that. Well, in the United States, there's a lot of regulations and a lot of laws, a lot allowing you to have certain animals, all the way up to releasing animals into the wild. You should never do that in general, wherever you're at. So say a person gets a 10-gallon tank, they have a goldfish, it outgrows it. You should never release your goldfish into the wild. They will cause havoc wherever they are. They're not made to be in that area. The ecosystem isn't set up to handle goldfish. Whatever's in that ecosystem is what belongs there. It works that way. You know, they have prey, they have predators. Goldfish, you know, is just it's more prey for other animals. They eat other stuff. It doesn't fit right. It just doesn't work in the ecosystem is what I'm trying to say. So do some more research on that, of course, because I'm not going to explain it the best. I'm not the best at that. But you just don't ever want to release fish from your aquarium into the wild. Even plants, rocks, anything that's been inside of your tank at home, you don't want to release that into the wild because, for one, you could bring a parasite into it, introduce another parasite. You don't want to introduce any type of infections, anything like that. Whatever's in your tank at home you want to keep in there, or, you know, whenever something dies or whatever, you flush down the toilet or bury it, whatever you'd like. And that's the way you dispose of things. If you don't want to keep a fish that you have at home, like I said, never release it in the wild. Call one of your local fish stores or one of your local pet stores, see if you could donate it to them or turn it in for some store credit or cash even. A lot of times they'll give you money for them if it's worth it. Or go on to one of the Facebook groups or any type of group or post like that and put it up for adoption. And that's really a great way to get rid of fish that you don't need, want, or aren't able to care for. So now, opposite to what I said, another thing that you're not going to really want to do is take things from the wild and put it inside of a tank. For a couple reasons. One, it's kind of immoral to remove a giant fish from the wild and put it in a 10-gallon tank, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of people catch giant largemouth bass in their area and put it right into a 10-gallon tank or something like that, and, you know, the fish flops out or it dies. You know, there's lots of stuff, lots of videos you can look at on TikTok, which I'm not going to mention too much of that, but of people doing some really ignorant stuff like that, and it really just gets on my nerves. So just don't be one of those people. Do your research, make sure you know what you're doing. Don't put fish into the wild. Don't take fish out of the wild. Another thing is, not my specialty, but turtles. I see a lot of times people take turtles out of the wild, put it into a tank. You know, that's just not, this doesn't work like that. If it's in the wild walking around, just leave it be. It's different. These fish are all bred in captivity most of the time. The fish I keep most of the time are bred in captivity. So I'm not really removing them from the wild. I'm kind of just putting them in a different location that they're used to, right? So like these fish I get from Florida or these ones behind me, which we'll talk more about that in another video, I just got from Indiana, shipped, and these are all captive bred fish. So none of these fish are being removed from the wild, although wild caught fish are very cool, but it's really not my favorite thing to do, in my opinion. You can feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know how you think about that as well. Another big thing I want to bring some light to today is for all you new fish keepers, whether or not just starting out, if you're thinking about going to get a fish, let this be a piece of information for you to please do your research on whatever type of fish you're doing or planning on getting, whatever type of tank you're planning on getting. you have to set up a tank accordingly, right? You really shouldn't be putting fish in bowls. That's really no good in my opinion. You got to have heaters with certain fish. You have to have filtration with every fish. Every fish needs filtration. Yes. That's not my opinion. That's just facts. They will die if they do not have filtration. Learn the nitrogen cycle, please. That is a big, super big thing when fish keeping, is learning the nitrogen cycle. You cannot just set up a fish tank with a filter and water and a heater and throw a fish in it. It doesn't work like that. You have to let it cycle. And you know, I have detailed videos about cycling as well, so check those out. But to put it short, cycling, you know, you're going to want to introduce ammonia to the tank. Ammonia then gets eaten by the nitrifying bacteria. It turns into nitrite, and then gets eaten again, turned into nitrate. So that's a cycle, right? Ammonia is the most toxic to fish. Nitrite is less toxic, and nitrate is the least toxic of the three. So you want that beneficial bacteria, that nitrifying bacteria, to break that ammonia down into nitrite, and then break that nitrite down into nitrates, which then can be removed by water changes, and all that beneficial bacteria is going to be held in the filter. So that's why you need that filtration. Also, when you start up a tank, you need to add nitrifying bacteria, live bacteria, some type of something like that, like a seeded sponge filter, which I did here, and I have a seeded canister filter as well, which I still even added live bacteria because it's always good to jumpstart a filter or to use that as maintenance and such on. But just wanted to bring some light to that as well. A lot of people don't hear that enough, and a lot of these pet stores need to be more responsible, making sure people are aware of this situation and aware of what they need to do, such as adding live bacteria, like I said, following the nitrogen cycle. Testing their water is a big thing. You guys need to test your water to make sure that your tank is establishing itself and not just going backwards or plateauing, as I guess you could call it. So do your research. Take it from me. I've had a couple bad experiences beginning because I didn't do my research. I had to learn the hard way. I don't want you guys to have to do that. I want you guys to come in with great success and be able to thrive, as well as your fish thrive, of course. So that's all I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. May not be the most interesting video, but like I said, I feel like it's part of my responsibility as a YouTuber and a fish keeper to spread this awareness of invasive species and taking species out of the wild, introducing them into a tank. You know, those fish thrive out where they are. You really don't want to remove fish from the wild, and again, that's kind of just my opinion, because there is wild caught fish. But again, back to the fact of I really only keep tank bred fish, so they're not really losing anything, and they thrive just as well in this tank as they would in the wild. But again, they're used to the tank. But anyways, other than that, never release your fish into the wild. Please do your research on fish before you buy a fish. Look up the nitrogen cycle, make sure your tank is cycling, add your nitrifying bacteria, look up what your fish requires. Goldfish do not do well in a bowl. They will live, but they will live a miserable life, right? Same thing with betas. They will live in a bowl, but they will live a miserable life. They need to have heaters, they need to have decor, plants, wood, filtration. With plants come lights. You need lights, you know. You could put a beta in a bowl, but you need to have a filtration system, and you need to have a heater, of course. Same with goldfish. You don't necessarily need to have a heater with goldfish, but you need to have filtration. Every fish, every invertebrate, every bivalve, any type of living creature that is going to go in your tank will need filtration. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They produce ammonia. Where's it going to go if there's no filtration? It's just going to stay in the tank unless you do massive water changes, which at that point you'll never be able to keep up. So do your research, guys. I know I keep saying it, but that's the best thing you can do. I want you guys to have great success off the front instead of having to, you know, lose fish. Nobody wants to hear that, but that is what it is. Anyways, other than that, guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, do your part, spread awareness if you know what you're doing. Put out videos like this. Let everybody else know what they can do to prevent invasive species and you know, prevent the loss of fish for no good reason. We can all appreciate a good video on that. But that's it for now, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching.